Start by setting out your pond. Use a garden hose to get the shape and size right, and once you're happy with that, go around and paint the lines in. Now set the biofalls in position. It needs to be level side to side and sloping very slightly forward. Connect the plumbing, and then once you start digging the pond, you can bury the plumbing as well as firm up the biofalls in position. Biofalls all firmed up, plumbing lying in the way it goes. Fit the skimmer box. Skimmer box needs to be buried down in the ground. Pack it in fairly tight and level it up. It will need to be level front, side to side and front to back. Skimmer box all in place, leveled up and soil packed around it. Plumbing connected to the skimmer box. Now as we carry on digging the pond, we can finish burying our plumbing. Skimmer in, plumbing buried. Now first level dug down. Now you will notice here that the land drops away from us, so instead of digging the first level full depth all the way or going extra deep at the viewing point, the deck end, we're actually going to build a berm up and build the other end of the pond a bit higher to keep the water level up high. We're now marking in the second shelf, or second depth. This will create our plant shelf, shallow plant shelf right on the edge of the pond, where marginal plants can be planted to grow and help look after water quality. The second level dug down, and we're going to mark in the third level. Now when we go to dig the third level, if you're using an aquatic lifestyle skimmer box, it's designed so as the bottom of the box can be the full depth of the bottom level of your pond, and that will give you legal water depth with your layer of river gravel on the bottom. So we're going to dig down to the level we've got the bottom of the box. Here we go. We have the third and final level dug right down. You'll notice 2 lily pockets there where we're going to plant 2 water lilies, and in front of the skimmer box you'll see a pump out depression. This pump out depression means when we come to do a pump out and clean the pond, we can sit the pump down low so it's easy to pump all the water out of the pond. The biofall's in place and packed in nicely with soil, keeping it in position. Before you start laying the underlay and the liner, it's a good idea to sweep off any loose dirt, stones or debris from the shelves and the bottom of the pond. That's our fish cave. That'll go back in on top of the liner once it's in place. Okay, we place the underlay in first. This will protect our liner a little from any stones or roots or any debris that may be still underneath the pond. The underlay doesn't have to be one piece, it can be done in more than one piece, even quite a few small pieces. Where the underlay joins, I like to run along with a heat gun. If you heat up one side, it melts it a little and you can push them together. This virtually glues them or welds them together so as they don't move when you come to put the liner on top. Spread the liner out over the top of the underlay. And force the liner in place. Start rocking right from the bottom of the pond first, forcing the liner back in against the soil or as you go. Now if you're placing any fairly large rocks or boulders in the pond, it's a very good idea to put a couple of layers of underlay on top of the liner to protect it again from the large heavy rock or boulder. Again, when moving large rocks over the liner, put 2 or 3 or even 4 layers of underlay on top of the liner just to protect where you're moving the rock. I have a couple of old furniture blankets here I use as well. This is a very large rock, and I'll tip it down on top of 2 or 3 furniture blankets, which will protect the liner while I maneuver it into place. Here we are with the bottom section rocked in, our large stepping stones in place. You'll notice there's underlay under all those large boulders. Now, fitting the liner to the skimmer box, just need to make sure that it's going to fit properly. Take the face plate, position it on the liner, and fit the 2 top outside screws. Use a sharp object, nail, brad awl or similar to poke the hole through first, and then push the screw through afterwards. Now pull the face plate and liner away from the skimmer box, fold it down, clean both surfaces, and run sealer around the screw holes. Just a nice thick bead of sealer around the screw holes. Good quality fish safe sealant that's designed for permanent immersion in water. Refit the face plate with the 2 screws still in place to guide you into position. Fit the nuts to the back side of the screws. and then carry on around the faceplate, placing all the screws in position. Don't tighten them fully until you have them all in and nuts attached to the back of them. Once they're all in, you can tighten them up. And then leave for 24 hours before running a sharp knife around the inside and cutting a piece of liner out from the inside. Now rock in up to the skimmer. Now here we are, fully rocked in. Now on the biofalls, fit the liner exactly the same way as you fitted it to the skimmer filter. Here you can see on the inside, just once it's dry, run a sharp knife around the edge from the inside and take out the piece of liner in the spillway. Rock up the waterfall, fit the spillway rocks first. Be sure that they are level side to side and sloping down slightly at the front. This will give the water coming over them a little bit of velocity and it will shoot off the front edge much better. Once the spillway rock's in place, rock in the framing rocks around the waterfall. It's always a good idea to use fairly large rocks as framing rocks and try not to have everything the same height or same size. Here's the waterfall fully rocked in. Now wash the waterfall down, wash all the rocks and wash all the liner around the waterfall so that you can foam it in and have the foam adhere very well to both liner and rocks. While the waterfall rocks are drying, it's a good time to place any lights in place that you're having in the pond. It's much easier to install lights while the pond's empty, and you can position them where you think they'll look good. Just tweak them once the pond is going and the lights are working. You can hide the wires from the lights quite easily while you have an empty pond. The waterfall is now dry. Sometimes you need to leave it overnight or to the next day, depending on how warm the weather is, or sunny or windy it is. So now that it's dry, we can get it all foamed in place. Here we are, foamed in. Now you'll notice there's quite a bit of foam oozed out here and there on the spillways. That can be cut or broken away. and so as it hides quite easily. Now there's the lily pockets with soil in them, and we're starting to place the river gravel in the pond. Now hose everything down once the river gravel's in and the foam is dry in the waterfall. Wash all the rock work, all the gravel and liner. You may have to wash it down a couple of times and pump the dirty water out to get it reasonably clean. Here's our sump pump in the pump out depression. Now start filling the pond. Once the pond's full and running, you can start with the edge work. This way you can make sure that you have no leaks, or the line is high enough, or there's no low patches while the pond's filled to its highest point. So go around and tidy up the liner, put your gravel, mulch in up to the edges. Here we are with all the edge work complete. We just need to place a couple of rocks on top of the skimmer box to hide that. Waterfall's going. Now we can plant our plants. Sometimes the water will dirty up a bit and get a little bit murky while planting the plants, but that's fine, it clears in a day or so. Now with the plants, set them all out first, make sure you're happy about where you're planting them, then take them out of their baskets, rinse most of the loose soil off of their root system, and then place them back in the gravel. Plant them into the gravel almost bare rooted. If you don't have enough gravel at the point where you're planting the plant, just get a little bit of extra gravel and put that around the root system. Okay, time to plant the deep water plants. So we've got our waders on, we're getting in, we've already dropped them into where we think we're going to put them. So now we'll get in and we'll plant the deep water plants. Got a couple of water hawthorn going in here because we're coming into winter. We are putting a couple of lilies, but they have gone dormant at this stage. And here's the completed pond.